We're not like a for-profit institution or something like that. We're not raising meat for anybody except ourselves. So we have an 1.5 acres of grazing area that we pretty much set aside. We don't mow it, we just let it grow out. And our lawnmowers are right here behind me. It's these 8 ladies. These are sheep that we got from a local sheep farmer. And we figured that 8 was gonna be enough. We're anticipating getting a couple 100 pounds of meat from these 8 sheep. And on that 1.5 acres, we never have to repeat pasture twice, but we move them every 5 days. Basically, the way this works out is with that 1.5 acres, I assume that I'm gonna miss about 20% of it just because I'm not perfect. Every time we move our sheep, we have one 100-foot long Premier One fence that goes in basically a long line, and then we have 4 other fences that we use to make it into a square. Basically, that ends up as a 33 by 33 foot square. This is around 1,000 square feet for 5 days, and with our 20% margin, basically I'm getting about 53,000 square foot of possible pasture. Since most lambs are slaughtered around 8 months, you actually never have to worry about using the same pasture twice in a single year with this amount of sheep on this size property. Obviously you can scale this up kind of infinitely, but we're doing almost, it's not mob grazing because we're not moving them that quick, but it is intensive management and we're moving them at a much faster pace than most other people would. That being said, it's time for me to set up a new pasture, so I'll show you exactly how I do it. My mower's down, so you're gonna see me doing this with just a weed whacker basically. Once we get everything set up, I'll actually show you exactly how we set the fences to make it easy, and so that way I only have to do this work once every 2 weeks. So we've got 1,000 square foot cut right here. It just kind of shoots down that orange fence, and then right up there, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there's a black pole right about there. And that's just my marker, right? That's as far as we're gonna do it. I'm not measuring this out, right? I know that it's 11 of my normal steps is about that 33 feet. So I just step it out. Sometimes we end up with a little bit short and we adjust the fence and like bring it in. Sometimes it's a little bit long and I just push the fence around. I'm not that concerned with it. It's not like breaking my mental load to make sure I get exactly 1,025 square feet from this. That being said, let's throw up the next fence and then we'll talk about how we actually set it up week over week. Before we move the sheep, let me take you on a little tour of what this looks like and really how it looks. So 5 days ago, this is the pasture that our sheep were on. This is the exact same pasture that our pigs were on pretty much when we first got them. So we were using the pigs to till up the earth. And you can see in some places where they got pretty good to it, but the grass comes back and you can see the sheep don't eat all of it. This is what they've been on for 5 days and today's moving day. So this is about how much they're gonna eat. This is what that pasture looked like literally 5 days ago. Very overgrown, ready to be eaten, and they eat pretty much all of it. Just for reference though, all of this that you see over to that power line is where the sheep were just 2 weeks ago. So it bounces back super quick. It's really nice. And then really, because we're only putting them on the pasture once a year, we'll let this kick back, and then right before winter, we'll mow it all down and just keep it nice for the whole winter time. In order to do this method, you need at least 3 Premier One 100-foot fences, or whatever brand of electrical fence that you want. I would make it 100 foot. I take one and I use it as like a guide, and you can see I'm not really careful about making sure it's perfectly straight, but this this one right here goes all the way down 100 feet. And then I separate it out, each pasture. Right now you can see I've got 3 pastures set up. This is where they were, this is where they are, and this is where they're going. So I can use this one as I can use that wall as my 4th wall, and then I just have to set these up. Normally I would set this up so that way I have 3 pastures ready to go, meaning I get 15 days before I have to actually come out and do fences again. Our garden's pretty lackluster this year, so we're taking anything we can get, and our pigs planted this corn for us, so we're kind of keeping this little piece right here protected so that way we can harvest all of this corn, but no big deal. The greatest thing about doing it this way though is you don't have to worry about the sheep getting out. We've chased sheep, I think 3 times in the 5 months that we've had them, and we've pretty much almost lost every single time because, as it turns out, they're a little bit more agile than I am, and I don't have a bunch of endurance despite us being an endurance creature. So all I do is I just open up a gateway in between each one. Typically what I do is I'll run this all the way to the end, so that way on that main line, when I have to cross over to the other side, I just open up that gate, and then in between, I'm just opening up one little length of fence to make sure that we got it. With this single line, you can get 6 pastures without having to root this up and move the fence once. We're gonna move you over here, so hopefully you can capture the entire thing, and I don't gotta worry about trying to move a camera mid-sheep move by myself. This is definitely easier with a couple of little helpers, but mine are at dance camp today, so it's just gonna be me. Here we go. As you can see, they all ran straight for the sweet stuff. It really took no effort on my part because, well, this is what they want. They'll have a heyday the rest of the day and they won't lay down until it's well after dark. I hope this is helpful for you and encourages you to grab some sheep on your little farm. Please like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel.